Listen, I need you to sit with this for a second, because what I'm about to break down is going to change how you see two people in your life forever. Two people, not the whole group. Two specific people who made a pact, an actual agreement to keep something from you. And right now, in this moment, that secret is slipped through the cracks. Slipping through the cracks. The dam is breaking, the truth is leaking out, and they don't even know it yet. They are going about their day thinking everything's locked down, thinking you are still in the dark, and meanwhile, you're about to find out exactly what they decided you shouldn't know. And when they realize you know, that panic they are going to feel, that's going to be unlike anything you've ever witnessed from them. Here is what happened. These two people, they witnessed or knew about something significant, something that would actually matter to your life, your choices, your future. And instead of bringing this information into the light where it belongs, they sat across from each other, maybe literally, maybe just in a phone call or a text thread, and they made a decision together, a conscious, deliberate choice. They decided that keeping this from you served them better, not you, them. Because if you knew what they know, you would make completely different decisions. You would change course, direction. You would say no to things you've been saying yes to. And you'd say yes to things you've been walking away from. And those changes, those would not benefit them. So they locked it down. They made an agreement, a pact of silence. A pact. Think about what that actually means for a second. These aren't strangers. These are not random people who don't care about your life trajectory. This is someone close to you. Maybe it's family, maybe it's a friend you've known since you were young. Maybe it's someone you trusted completely. And that person looked at another person and said, let's not tell them. Let's not tell them. And the other person said, okay, I agree. That's what happened. That's the weight of what you are carrying right now without even knowing it. The information could be about anything. For some of you, it's about someone who tried to reach out to you. Someone wanted to make contact. They were trying to get your attention. Romantically, professionally, whatever the case may be. But before they could get to you, they had to go through these two people. And these two people decided together, no, we're not passing this message along. We're not introducing them. We are keeping the collective to themselves. This is literally like that scene from every romantic movie where the love interest shows up at your door or your friend's house or anywhere they can find you, desperately trying to deliver a message. But instead of your friends going, oh my God, let me tell them you're here, they just close the door. They block the driveway. They say, sorry, they are not interested. when you absolutely would have been interested. They made an unilateral decision for your life. They decided your future for you. And that person, the one who was fighting to reach you, they eventually gave up. They stopped trying. They thought you didn't want them. They thought you were not interested. And you never knew that someone was actually looking for you. You never knew. You never knew that someone cared enough to show up. You never knew that a completely different life was trying to become yours, and two people just slammed the door on it. For others, it's information about money, an inheritance, an insurance payout, a check that was supposed to come your way. Someone was supposed to tell you about it. Make sure it got to you. Instead, these two people looked at each other and said, what if we don't? What if we don't do that? What if you just never found out? What if that money just disappeared into the background? And the wild part is how they have been acting around you the whole time. One of them's probably been playing broke, acting like they are struggling, pushing pennies in front of you. Meanwhile, there is cash somewhere, cash that was supposed to be yours. And they have been sitting on it, using it, benefiting from your not knowing. For some of you, it's worse. It's something illegal, something they all did together, multiple people, but you are getting clarity on two specific people who were the architects of this. Two people who made the call to keep you in the dark about something they did. And they had to stay quiet, because if you knew, you would stand up, you would say something, you would change everything. So they bound together in silence, and now that bond is breaking. Yeah, that bond is breaking. Here is what really gets me though. What really shows you who people are. They've been sitting in your face metaphorically, the entire time, smiling at you, hugging you, maybe even asking you for favors or advice, like they haven't betrayed you, asking you to trust them on other things while they are actively deceiving you on this. And the whole time they are lying, not just once, repeatedly. Every time you bring up this topic or get close to figuring it out or ask questions, they deflect, they deny. They gaslight you into thinking you're paranoid, you're overthinking this, you're being dramatic. You know that words. Nothing's going on. Nothing's going on. And you believe them because they were so convincing, because they had practice, because they were doing this with someone else backing them up. And that's the worst part. They had a co-conspirator. They had someone to reinforce the lie. When you'd ask one of them a question, they'd check with the other one in a text or in a glance, and they'd both stick to the same story. That kind of coordination, that's intentional, that's calculated, that's not accidental betrayal. That's premeditated deception, sorry. But here is where it shifts. Here's where the story turns. You've been removed from something, isolated in a way that doesn't even feel like isolation. It might feel like you chose to step back, or like circumstances just happened, but it was strategic. And in that isolation, something happened that nobody planned for. You started receiving downloads. Information started coming to you in dreams. Yeah, in dreams. You'd have these moments of clarity that didn't make sense at the time. A conversation you overheard, a comment someone made that was just slightly off, a feeling in your body when you were around these two people, like something was crawling up your spine, something was off. Your intuition was screaming at you, and you didn't even know why. And that's because they were not accounting for one thing. They thought they were isolated from you, which meant you couldn't hear the truth. What they didn't realize is that being away from them, being in that quiet space, that's exactly where the truth could reach you. So, when you are surrounded by noise and people and chaos, you can't hear the subtle messages. But alone, in the quiet, that's where it all comes through. There is someone else involved in this too. Yeah, someone who's been trying to reach you for a long time, years maybe. This person has been fighting to get a message to you, to make contact. And every single time they have had to go through these two people first, every single time they've been blocked. Every time they thought this is it. This is my moment. And suddenly a wall went up. They showed up with flowers, with words, with vulnerability, and they were turned away. They sent letters that never got delivered. They tried to find you through mutual friends, and those friends mysteriously went quiet. They called, and your phone stayed silent because someone intercepted that call. Can you imagine that kind of persistence? That kind of desperation? Someone who cares enough about you to keep fighting even after being rejected repeatedly, not realizing that the rejection wasn't coming from you. It was coming from the gatekeepers. And now something's shifting. The current is finally able to flow. There was a disconnection, like someone turned off the circuit breaker and now someone's flipping that breaker back on. The electricity is coming back, and this person, they are going to finally be able to reach you. Do you want to hear the craziest part? These two have zero clue how much the playing field has tilted. They are coming at you with yesterday's tactics, last era's manipulation strategies, while the you standing right in front of them is light years ahead, and they can't even see it. You've learned, you've grown, your intelligence has expanded while theirs stayed in the same place. You are reading books they'll never read. You understand psychology and human behavior in ways they can't even comprehend. And so when you finally look at them and say, I know, When you finally reveal what you know, they will not even be able to understand how you figured it out. It will seem impossible to them. It will seem like you have powers or information you shouldn't have. But the truth is so much simpler. You evolved, and they didn't. And you are going to see them scramble. You are going to watch them try to use the same denial tactics, the same manipulation plays that have always worked before. You are being dramatic. You don't understand the full picture. You are taking this out of context. But it will not land anymore because you can see them now, really see them. Like someone doing something illegal while they are being filmed, and then you show them the video. Hello? Did you think I couldn't see you? Sorry, I'm a bad actress. That's what this is. The camera has always been rolling. You've been documenting this the whole time without even knowing it. So let's talk about what's actually happening in the background right now. These two people are losing something. Maybe it's money, maybe it's security, maybe it's time, because time is expiring. There is an explanation date on all of this. The longer they hold this secret, the more it costs them. And they are trying to perceive it, trying to pinch pennies, trying to hold on to whatever they have built with this lie. But it's dissolving, and they can feel it. The person who's been fighting to reach you, who's been waiting for a window to finally get through, they are waiting. They are done waiting. Something shifted, and they are taking actions. They are not going to let these two people block them anymore. They might reach out directly. They might send a message through someone else. They might post something public that forces the truth into the light. They might finally just say, screw it. I'm telling them everything. And when that happens, when that message gets through, everything changes. Yeah, everything changes. Because here's the truth about hidden information. You know that. It has power. It has power as long as it stays hidden. The moment it comes into the light, the power shifts completely. It shifts from them to you. Right now, they have power because they have knowledge. You don't. They are operating with an advantage. But the second you know what they know, that advantage evaporates. And not only does it evaporate, but not only does it evaporate, but now you realize you've been making decisions based on incomplete information. You are going to start replaying conversations. You are going to start understand why they reacted certain ways to things, why they discouraged you from certain paths, why they seemed uncomfortable when you asked specific questions. Every strange moment is going to make sense suddenly, and it's going to reveal everything about who these people actually are. Not who they pretend to be, not the version of themselves they show to the world, but who they actually are when nobody's watching, when they think it's just them and one other person, making a pact in the darkness. That's who they are. And once you see that version of them, you can't unsee it. You can't go back to trusting them the way you did before. You can't pretend it didn't happen. There is something else too. Something you probably don't even realize yet. While they were busy keeping this secret, while they were focused on maintaining the lie, something was changing in you. You got smarter. Your intuition got sharper. You learned how to read people. You learned what manipulation feels like and what truth feels like. You learned the difference between someone who's genuinely protecting you and someone who's just protecting themselves. And so when this information does come out, when this secret breaks into the light, you're not going to react the way they think you will. They are probably imagining you being devastated, falling apart, needing their comfort and guidance. I don't know what's happening today. Sorry. My tongue doesn't listen to me. Something to them to help you process this betrayal. That's what they are hoping for, because it keeps the power dynamic in place. But what's actually going to happen is completely different. You are going to feel this moment of crystalline clarity, a moment where everything snaps into focus, and you are going to stand up, not angry in a reactive way, but clear in a definitive way. And you are going to say, and maybe not out loud at first, but internally, okay, I see you now. And everything changes. The person who's been trying to reach you this whole time, they're going to feel that shift too. They are going to sense that you finally understand, that you finally know what was being kept from you. And whether it's romantic, whether it's professional, whether it's about opportunity and possibility and a future you didn't even know was possible, that door is about to open. Not because they are finally going to tell you the secret. They don't need to. You're about to figure out the pieces of yourself. You're about to see what was right in front of you the whole time. And here is the beautiful part. Here is what they really didn't account for when they made that pact of silence. The quiet, they focused you into the isolation they created to keep you away from this person and this information. That quiet is what protected you. Let me explain. That isolation is what allowed you to develop the clarity and intelligence you need to handle this moment correctly. If you'd been surrounded by their noise, by their manipulation, by their constant pressure to believe their version of reality, you would be weaker. But because they isolated you, you became stronger. And now you're standing in the truth and they are standing in the lie. And you can see exactly where the distance between you is. You are going to get the message. It's coming. Whether it's direct or indirect, whether it's through someone else or someone through circumstances. You're going to receive confirmation. You're going to get proof. And at that moment, you need to understand something. You are going to have power in this situation that you've never had before because of that isolation. Power to make choices, power to set boundaries, power to walk away or step forward or demand answers. Power to change the narrative of your own life. These two people made a choice. They choose to keep you in the dark because it served them. But they were never actually in control. They were never actually in control. They were just playing out a pattern, a dynamic that's been repeating for so long they think it's normal. They think that's how relationships work. You hold secrets, you control information, you keep people small and compliant by keeping them uninformed. But that's not how it works anymore. That's not how it's working with you, because you have evolved. And evolution means you outgrew this. You outgrew the version of yourself that could be controlled with hidden information. You outgrew the version that would believe their lies because you didn't have enough information to know better. You became something they didn't expect, something they didn't plan for. And now the secret they've been protecting so carefully is about to become the very thing that sets you free. When you finally know the truth, and you will very soon, don't be surprised by the shock on their faces. Don't be surprised by how they scramble to explain themselves or justify what they did. Don't be surprised by how they try to minimize it or reframe it or make it sound like they were protecting you all along. They are going to say things like, "We were looking out for you," or "You were not ready," or it would have only hurt you. And every single word is going to ring hollow because you are finally going to see the pattern. You are finally going to understand why they discouraged you from certain people, why they suddenly got weird when you mentioned a name, why they changed the subject so quickly when something almost came up, why they looked at each other with that specific look that you couldn't quite read at the time. All of it. And the worst part, you're going to realize how many moments they had to tell you, how many times they could have come clean, how many times you asked a direct question and they chose to lie instead of the truth. Just stand in what you know. Stand in the clarity. Stand in the truth, because you have earned it. You have been waiting for it, and it's finally here. And when that person who's been fighting to reach you finally gets through, when the message finally lands and you finally understand, that's when your real life begins. That's when you stop living in the version that two people created for you, and you start living in the version of you were always supposed to have. And they are going to watch you become free, and there is absolutely nothing they can do about it. Nothing.